Hello everyone, it's that teacher here, and today's lesson is going to be on adding fractions with unlike denominators. Let's start learning. Welcome back to our channel everyone, thank you for tuning in to today's lesson. Now today's lesson is going to cover the final piece of the puzzle in order for you to add any fraction that is given to you in your class. Now, we have previously covered how to add fractions with the same denominators. We have also covered how to add fractions with similar or related denominators, but today's lesson we are going to fully focus on how to add fractions with completely different denominators. So, the first thing we need to learn in order to understand this concept is something called the lowest common multiple. Now, the lowest common multiple is the smallest number that is a multiple of two or more numbers. Let's use the fraction 3/8 to demonstrate the lowest common multiple. So on the screen, I have listed the first few multiples of the numbers 3 and 8. In other words, the first few times tables of the number 3 and the number 8. Now the lowest common multiple is the lowest number that is shared by both of these times tables. So I'm really trying to break this down so it's simple. So as you can see, nothing is common, nothing is the same between the 3 times tables and the 8 times tables until we hit the number 24. Now 24 is a common multiple of both the 3 times tables and the 8 times tables. It's the first time that the 2 times tables meet and share a common multiple. So when you're finding the lowest common multiple, this might be a process that you would like to follow. If you write down the first few multiples of each number and locate when you find a common multiple, go to the smallest or the lowest common multiple, and that is how you identify the lowest common multiple. Now we need to understand this in order to solve our fraction questions. Now, our fraction here is 1/3 plus 1/2. Now, as you can see, we can't just simply add this. We need to find the lowest common multiple between the 3 and the 2. So that's going to be 6. Now, we need to make both of our denominators 6. So as you can see, I've highlighted the lowest common multiple here, and that is 6. So both of our denominators have to equal 6. So what we need to do here in order to solve this is multiply 3 by 2 and 2 by 3. Now remember, whatever you do to your denominators, you have to do the same thing to your numerator, but you do it to the same fraction. So what I mean here is the 1/3 here, you need to times that 1 by 2, and the 1/2, you need to times that 1 by 3. So you just keep it the same fraction, don't mix the fractions, and it's very simple. Now, I highly recommend rewriting your working out here, your new fraction here, because it will eliminate any silly errors that might be made if you scratch and scribble over your book. I would just rewrite the new fraction exactly how I'm going to show you. So 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. Now that we have the same denominators, the fraction is totally simple to add. Remember, we do not add the denominators, we only add the numerators. Our fraction here is going to be 5/6. Now, the next number here, the next question here we have 3/4 plus 1/5. So the lowest common multiple between our denominators, so the first time that both times tables meet up and share a common multiple, is the number 20. So what do we need to do to that 4 to equal 20? Well, we need to times it by 5. What do we need to do to the 5 to equal 20? We need to times that by 4. Now remember, you need to do exactly the same thing to your denominators that you do to the numerators, or vice versa. So whatever you do to one, you need to do to the other. So 3 times 5, and on the other side of the fraction, you have 1 times 4. Now, remember, rewrite this cleanly in your book so that you eliminate any simple errors that may be made. 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 is 15. We have 5 times 4 is 20, 1 times 4 is 4. Now, we do not add the denominators, we only add our numerators, 19 over 20. Now, another thing you need to do, we're going to cover this in the next question, we can't simplify that number. Remember, if you did not simplify the number, you might only get half the marks from your teacher. So always try and simplify. In this case, 19 over 20 cannot be simplified. That is the simplest form that fraction can achieve. Now, our last example, we are going to simplify. So we have 1/5 plus 2 over 6. The lowest common multiple. The first time that the 5 times tables and the 6 times tables meet is the number 30. So we need to make both of our denominators 30. So what do we need to do to 5 to equal 30? Well, we need to times it by 6. What do we need to do to 6 to equal 30? Times it by 5. And remember, whatever you do to the denominator, you need to do the same thing to the respective numerators. So 1 times 6, 2 times 5. Rewrite your question so that you eliminate any simple errors that could be made. So we have 30, so 6 over 30, and we have 10 over 30. Remember, we do not add the denominators, but we do add the numerators, 16 over 30. Now you need to think, this can be simplified because if both of your numerator and your denominators are even, most likely at bare minimum, you can divide that by 2. Now you need to think, what's the largest number that can be evenly divided by the numerator and the denominator? So that number here is going to be 2. Remember, whatever you do to the numerator or the denominator, you need to do to the numerator or the denominator, vice versa. So we're dividing both by 2 here, giving us our simplified fraction, 8 over 15. Now, hopefully we have covered and gone through all the things you need to learn in order to add any fraction that your teacher throws at you. So here are some questions for you to do at home. On the next slide, I'm going to show you the answers, so feel free to pause here, try and work it out in your book. Remember, rewrite your new fraction so that you can eliminate any simple errors that will be made. I'm about to show you the answers. If you've made it this far into the lesson and the video, thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Answers are coming now. Now, as you can see here, the answers are on the screen. I know that if you followed our simple steps and procedures, you would have absolutely nailed these questions. Now, thank you for watching today's lesson. It's That Teacher. We'll see you in the next lesson.